Nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash, double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone, and blessings to the hopeful and sincere elect, Bakwaya Kodash, the holy elect, Baha'a Ra'azah, in and around the four winds, man. Greetings. Yeah, man. According to the scriptures, Luke 21st chapter, from around the 10th verse on down, the Lord said it, man. The final things that are going to be happening in these last days, pivotal to prophecy, is civil unrest, civil war. People are going to go from civilized to uncivilized real quick, man. And you see what's going on over there in the shores of America right now with this immigration problem with the czars and all of that. And Trump, is hitting the road hard and fast, basically, with all these different draconian legislations, man. These executive orders that he passed a few days back after his inauguration. And so he's coming hard, man, because basically the elites have given him the green light to just go forward with the plans of the New World Order, man, because these devils know they a lot of time left on the clock. That's pursuant to Revelations 12 and 12, it says they got a short time. They're going to come down with great wrath because they know if they have a short time, man. But that spirit of that racial spirit is being roused up to the most it's ever been roused up right now because of this immigration situation. And you got the ICE raids going on, them arresting Jakes, specifically from the Northern Kingdom, but apparently there's some Southern Kingdom that's been arrested as well, taken into custody, so on and so forth. Some Haitians, and the Dominican Republic, DRs and all that, that's Simeon, and that's mainly of the Northern Kingdom that are being persecuted, and Mexicans, so on and so forth. So it's definitely a time where the nations are rising up, and now you got these nationalist groups rising up as well, white nationalist groups, marching the streets, they're saying, in DC, and I think other states as well, basically warning Jakes to get out of the country and get out of their facility, basically, man, So that's also going to breed more tensions. And Esau, through the government's giving people license to, basically become bounty hunters and reap rewards for catching so-called illegals in their areas and all that. They're going to get $1,000 rewards and all that. So Esau is pushing that spirit of the straight up civil unrest, civil war, man. And one way or another, it's going to spiral out of control. It's going to get more violent than ever before. And these nations are going to go clash. They're going to start clashing head to head, especially Jacob and Esau, man. And for the most part, Esau's going to have the upper hand at first, but then the Lord's going to put a cold spirit on Jake. And like it tells you in Isaiah 19, that Judah's going to be a terror unto Egypt. So the Lord's going to rouse up the spirit of Jake, man. And Ephraim, is going to bend Judah for me and fill the bow of Ephraim, like I told you in the precepts. And once the tribes come back together and make that spiritual alignment, they're going to go ape shit on the other tribes, man, especially Esau, Edom. So that spirit of war, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom is definitely in the air. And we're going to see how it works out, what pans out this year, 2025, the hopeful year of our deliverance, and the destruction and judgment of Esau, Edom. But it's definitely kicking off to a great start, man. The fire rises, as your man Bane would say, man. The fire is definitely rising. So, just one or two precepts to close out, not make this too long. Like I quoted Isaiah 19. It says, and I will, verse 2, it says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, meaning American citizens against so-called American citizens or so-called illegals. And that people are, being coming up, starting to refute the fact that how can you call the so-called indigenous tribes of America, Native Americans and Hispanics, how can you call them illegals in their own land? When the devils came over and stole the land, the Europeans basically came over and stole the land from the natives and the indigenous people that was over there or before you came over there. So this is basically hypocrisy in its greatest form, and people, not everyone's with it, man. A lot of people are, siding with Jake and realizing that, this devil has basically always, had that perpetual hatred, which the scriptures tell you that. And we've been warning Jake from the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that these times to come, telling them that to get this, prepared, because your enemy, the devil's definitely going to come down upon you, man, and he's going to rear them horns. He's going to reveal them horns more and more in these last days. Show that perpetual hatred that he's had for you tribes. Even though some of you wanted to vote and put him in office, man, So that's why the Lord said, "Woe unto you, put your trust in Egypt." He says, "And I will set Egyptian against the Egyptians," and says, "And they shall fight every one against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom, man." So this is the time that we're in, and these immigration situations with the deportations and the detention centers is definitely going to lead to that spiraling out of control in the next coming weeks and months, man. We're going to see, how many they actually get over the border. They say they want to deport over 11 million people across the border, man. We're going to see how it pans out in the next couple of weeks and months. But Esau, they got the ICE raids going on right now perpetually, man. They're not wasting no time, man, in these different states. It's where, predominantly Jake are at, targeting Jakes. Because the Esau knows that we're the chosen people of the Lord. He knows that we're the Israelites, man. So this is part of the persecution. They shoot in secret at the perfect, man. Talking about, the Israelites. They're the ones that are perfect. And the ones that are shooting at us are the wicked elite, the council of the wicked, as it tells you in Psalm 64. So let me just jump down and see, yeah. So verse 17, it says, and I'll read 16. It says, in that day shall Egypt be like a woman unto a woman, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he shaketh over it. The judgment's coming, man, for the land of Egypt. Ultimately, it's going to be taken out by nuclear destruction. But these are these are the calms before the storm. The commotion, so to speak, that the Lord's setting up as signs of the times that this Edomite society is coming to a violent end. Verse 17, it says, and the land of Judah, which represents the southern kingdom, shall be a terror unto Egypt. It says, everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself because of the counsel of the Lord of hosts, which he have determined against it. So the Lord's going to rouse up the spirit of Jake. Right now, Jake's like a lion's whelp, couched down and all that, very nonchalant about the situations that's going on. But sooner rather than later, the Lord's going to rouse up their spirits, man. And just like he's going to rouse up the spirit of the northern kingdom, and basically the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom are going to band together, like it tells you in the book of Zechariah. And they're going to band together and go against the Greeks, man. Let me get that precept real quick, and then I'll read the other precepts as well that I got. Let me just read this one and then I'll jump to that after. This is Luke 21 and verse 9. 10, Slakia. Things to come. So these are definitely things that's on the horizon regarding to prophecy. The word prophecy is to say something before it happens, man. Through the seers, through the oracles, which is another way of calling them men prophets, man. The oracles of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. So it says things to come, Luke 21 and 10. Then said he unto them, this is Yahweh Shai speaking, nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. So that's plain, man. The Lord said there's going to be riots, race riots, class riots, and all of this stuff going on, man, in these last days before he returns. So the fire is definitely going to be rising, man, and the spirits are getting roused up out here. That civil war type spirit is definitely getting roused up. And you got these white nationalists parading the streets, marching the streets, so to speak, trying to basically threaten Jakes to leave the land and all that. Leave the land that was once theirs, that was stolen by the so-called damn devil, so-called white man, Now they want to claim it for themselves. But that's the hypocrisy of this devil, man. That's why at the end of this whole deal, the Lord's going to put the spirit on Jake to put a foot in these devil's asses like never before, man. And we're going to get our get back even before the kingdom's set up. Jacob's gonna get a little get back on these devils, man. But definitely in the kingdom, after the smoke is cleared from the nuclear missiles and all that, we're gonna enslave these devils, starting with the wicked elite, and put them into perpetual slavery for 1,000 years, and have our foots on their necks like they did to us, man. We're gonna repay the favor. That's what you call poetic justice, man. Apostle Elder Tahar's going into that sit down right now about righteous recompense, an eye for an eye. Basically what the scriptures say, man. You devils done wickedness to us, you gonna return the favor, man. That's what you call recompense, payback. Payback is a bitch. So you devils have got hell to pay, man. This is Micah 5:7. It says, and the remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of many people, as a dew from the Lord, as the showers upon the grass, that tarrieth not for man. It says, nor waiteth for the sons of men. It says, and the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles, which are other nations, especially Esau, Edom, in the midst of many people, as a lion. So Jacob like a lion couched down right now, but the Lord's going to revive Jacob and give them that spirit of a young lion, basically be more ferocious and more in it. Put us back in that apex predator type mode, man. And these nations are going to be fucked. It says, in the midst of many people, as a lion among the beasts of the forest. It says, as a young lion. It says, among the flocks of sheep. It says, who if you go through, both treadeth down and teareth in pieces, and none can deliver. Yeah. So once the Lord puts the spirit on Jake, mainly the 2/3 to rebel and to fight fire with fire, basically, we gonna get the upper hand. It says, thine hand shall be lifted up upon thine adversaries, and all thine enemies shall be cut off. So the Lord gonna put a cold, predatory type spirit on Jake, man. The scripture says that Esau gonna be as the chase roe in these last days, man. And we gonna get these devils, man. So let these devils rouse up and do what they're doing, because all they're doing is fulfilling prophecy. So let me get this last precept here before I close out. This is Zechariah 12. Let me see. Well, this is a good scripture anyway, man. Because the Lord gonna endow certain men with spiritual power anyway. This is Zechariah 9 and 8. It says, in the day that the Lord will defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David. And this is talking about the elect men of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. He's going to endow certain men with spiritual power. Because right now we've got these feeble bodies, these bodies laden with iniquity and sin, and constantly going through hurdles, to maintain and just endure, into the end, basically. But the Lord said He's going to revive those that, renew their strength, so to speak, that wait upon the Lord and call upon His name, man, in the time of Jacob's trouble and all of that, which that's going to lead into, civil war and so on and so forth. Jacob's trouble is definitely going to be a part of that. And the Lord said He's going to endow certain men with spiritual power so they can escape the enemy. And that's talking about the elect men, that's going to receive that power. They that are feeble among them at that day shall be as David. King David had spiritual power. It says, in the house of David shall be as gods, So it says, as the angel of the Lord before them. So the Lord's going to endow certain men, from times past that was part of the house of David in the ancient world. They're going to be revived, and they're going to receive that power like King David's, 37 mighty men that he had back then that was with him, man, in his kingdom. And we're going to be like gods amongst men, and we're going to be doing miraculous things, man, that these other nations, that basically they ain't going to be able to touch us. We're going to be walking through them, like a freight train with no brakes, basically, man. Just going through all the nations, man, tearing their asses up. So that's going to happen for the men of the Lord. Like I told you in Jeremiah 16:16, He sent for many fishers, but in the end He's going to send for many hunters. So some of the hunters are going to be the angels and the men of the Lord that are part of the hopeful elect, that the Lord's going to endow with spiritual power, man. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem, and Jerusalem's a people before it's a place. So the Lord gonna deal with these other nations. he gonna exhort His people, man, through His elect, and they gonna go to work. Let me just get this last precept here. is Zechariah. I think. Yeah, it's like, yeah. So yeah, this is Zechariah 9 and 13. And just jump down the last precept and I'll close out. It says deliverance in the subheading, deliverance of Judah and Ephraim. So the Lord gonna, quell the beef between the tribes of the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom, all the disputations and the envying and all that. Judah should not envy Ephraim, and Ephraim should not vex Judah and all of that. The spirit is gonna be quelled through Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, man. And we gonna band together like we're supposed to and take on our enemies, man. Go against our main number one enemy, which is Esau, Edom. So it's Zechariah 9 and 13. It says, when I have bent Judah for me, filled the bow with Ephraim, and raised up thy sons, O Zion, against thy sons, O Greece. And who's the Grecians today? These so-called white people. It says, and made thee as a sword of a mighty man, like I just mentioned in Zechariah, 12, regarding the Lord restoring us like the mighty men of David. Basically, man, he's gonna make us them that feeble should be as David, King David. He's gonna make us as a sword of a mighty man. So we're gonna be revived, man, as a people, man, and we all gonna get a fair share of that spiritual power and go to work upon these damn nations, man. So yeah, everything that's happening right now is basically for the Lord to rouse up the spirits of Jake, like it tells you that troops shall overcome Gad. But in the end, he's gonna, a troop shall overcome Gad, but in the end, he shall overcome basically his enemy, basically, which is Esau, Edom. Roughly paraphrasing from Genesis 49. So that's the spirit that's on the earth right now, man. The Lord's rousing up the nations, because the Lord's a separatist, man. He's never all supposed to come together anyway. The Lord's always been a separatist. Some people say you want to call the Lord a racist. Well, the Lord's just for his people. That's what the word racist actually just means. Comes from the Hebrew word razah, which means for your people, for your nation. So that's exactly what the Lord's going to do. He's going to show who he's really dealing with and who he's not been dealing with, man. And these nations are going to be fucking torn to pieces once the Lord puts that spirit back on Jake, man. And the 2/3, they're going to be put to work as well. In their own way, and the Lord's going to use them, even though they're part of the 2/3, to exact vengeance upon the heathen also, man. So, we gonna get back, man. Patience is a virtue, as they say, man. But, revenge is sweet, and it's definitely gonna come, man. So we just gotta sit tight and watch this space. Abaratazar 2025 be the hopeful year, man. So anyway, with that, I want to close out. Give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruchakodash, and Shalom to the hopeful and sincere elect.